Hello, everyone. So we are live. Good morning to you if you're watching this in the UK right now. So I am very excited to host another live testimonial interview today with another client from the Freedom Geek. So again, I'm multi-streaming on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. And for those of you who don't know me yet, so I am Yasmin, and I've been working as a virtual assistant, sales specialist, and occasional host at the Freedom Geek. I've been working with Imogen for 2 years, so I am a Filipino VA and I am currently in the Philippines. So, for today's live session, one of our clients will be talking to us about his journey in finding and working with a Filipino VA. So, I would like to introduce you to Ben Knight. He is the founder and director of the Trade Tribe and Supremacy Property Solution. He teaches people how to invest in the stock market in less than 5 minutes per day. And as a property investor, he also provides communities and professionals with high quality living facilities. So let us give it up for Ben.
Hey,
Woo! Hi, Ben. How are you?
I'm great, thank you, Yasmin. How are you?
I'm good. So it's my afternoon in the Philippines. It is your morning. So I'm really happy that we can still, of course, do this virtually and have the interview.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. But Ben, to start off with, can you maybe add to the introduction? Tell us a bit about you, about your business.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So, as you quite rightly said, I've got two main businesses. One is the Trade Tribe, where I teach people how to invest in the stock market in less than 5 minutes a day. I do that through coaching, all online stuff, which is actually what I use the VA for predominantly. But then I also have the property business as well, which again, a lot of it is online, as you can imagine. But yeah, looking forward to getting into this interview.
Yes, I know. So, as I was saying a while ago, we spoke this year around February. So, you had a conversation with me. You came in looking for a virtual assistant. How long have you been working with your VA?
So it must have been about 6 months now, actually, half a year, which has flown by the way.
Yeah, it's been really fast. I didn't even realize that I spoke to you in February. So when I reached out, I wasn't sure how long it's been already because it felt like it was just recent. But then can you tell us why did you decide to, click on the booking link, book in a call with me, and decide to look for a virtual assistant?
Yeah, sure. So I think I was suffering the challenges that a lot of business owners will suffer with just a bit of overwhelm of the tasks day to day. Because when you're a solopreneur, obviously you're doing everything, right? You're the marketing team, you're the sales team, you're everything. So there's a lot of things that you sort of need to move aside to get out of your way so you can do the bigger tasks essentially. So I thought, right, well, a VA seems a great opportunity. I've been recommended it by other friends as well who are in similar situations. So yeah, I thought this is a perfect opportunity for me to expand my team.
Mm. So you mentioned that you're working with your VA more on the trade tribe. Could you maybe tell us a little bit more about how do you work with your VA? What kind of tasks do you delegate to them? How is the VA helping with that business exactly?
Yeah, sure. So Rouse's predominant focus is usually about audience growth and tracking. Right? So these are two things that I'm not a fan of, I have to say. So that's the reason to have a delay, by the way. But yeah, so tracking a lot of the metrics that, like, how many people I'm in touch with, who I'm like speaking with, what stage of the pipeline they're at, that sort of thing. Doing a lot of like the audience growth manually as well for me. So if I need something sent out, she'll take control of that. It's a lot of these sort of tasks that are actually really important to the business, but I don't need to be doing myself. That's a good way to put it.
Yes, definitely. There's a lot of tasks that you can definitely outsource
Mhm.
to a virtual assistant so that you're not constantly doing the repetitive tasks 10, 20 hours in a day. We do call it the low value tasks, things that need to be done but don't exactly drive the business forward, as opposed to just focusing on the high value tasks that of course do drive the business forward.
Yeah,
But
it's sorry, I was just going to say it's the things that do take up a lot of your day, but maybe aren't super valuable for moving the business. So yeah, the VA fits perfectly for that sort of task.
definitely. But so when you started working with your virtual assistant, well, before you started working with your virtual assistant, what were you feeling, aside from the overwhelm, and what did you feel afterwards once you've kind of successfully delegated more and more tasks to Rals?
Yeah, sure. So beforehand, as I said, it was really hard to just divide my time properly,
Mm-hmm.
because well, you'll understand this. There's a lot of tasks that actually do need to be done day to day, but aren't maybe at the top of your priority list. So that was a sort of struggle I was having every single day. That I need to get that done, but really I should be doing that to move the business forward. So that was what it felt like beforehand. Taking on a virtual assistant, especially if it's your first team member, it has a big impact because suddenly there's two of you in the business. So a lot of the tasks that you've moved over, they can take care of. It's happening in the background, which is actually a really quite a reassuring thing as well. Because if one day something happens in the business that takes all of my attention, like a crisis or something, the task is still going on in the background without me being there. Which that was a good peace of mind sort of thing that really benefited from, I'd say.
Yes, and when you came in and when you had the conversation with me, I'm sure you had a bit of questions, wondering how this would work. Did you have any kind of barriers to start that process of working with a VA? And if you did, how did you overcome those barriers?
To be honest, to be totally open and honest, I was a little bit tentative about somebody not based in the UK working on the business, especially with some of the tasks I was looking for be delegated. I thought, could
Yeah.
somebody who's not based in the UK perform these?
Yes.
Just because literally location, maybe even like culture or language barriers, anything like that. I was thinking, oh, that might be a bit of a challenge. However, I was incredibly surprised, and I mean this with the most respect, but I was really impressed with the level of English language, um, ability to like maneuver around the business, like adapt to any sort of task. But I was very very surprised and impressed with that. So yeah, that was a really nice, really good thing for me.
Yeah, a lot of clients that do come in, that I talk to, sometimes they are quite unsure of, well, number one, it's a virtual assistant, like you don't see them physically. And number two, they're not in the same area as you. They're like completely in a different time zone. And also, of course, again, like you mentioned, there's also like that culture, and you're not really sure if it's gonna work well. The other thing that our clients actually have questions with is, so your business is actually quite unique. Majority of our clients who come to us are UK property investors. 50% of our clients are UK property investors, but the other 50% are also in different kinds of businesses. So, like yourself, you're in property, but you're also in stocks. And some of the clients that we have, they kind of have that question of, I kind of need somebody with background in the same industry, but your industry is, in the stock market. So did you have any worries that I kind of need somebody who knows what I'm doing already, or is it okay that they don't really know it? What were your thoughts around that?
That's actually a great question. I think at the time I did think this is going to be something completely new to this person, and I was a little bit worried that maybe this will be quite overwhelming maybe for them, that they think like, what is he talking about? Um, However, it hasn't been an issue actually. What I found particularly with my VA was she was very, very keen, not just happy, but keen to do sort of reading around the subject, wanted to know more about the business. actively took steps to learn different bits that would actually help her in her role. So that actually made the transition like seamless for me. So that was actually a massive positive.
Mm. Were there any, aside from that, were there any like pleasant surprises that you experienced the moment that you started working with Ralphs?
Well, apart from the fact she's actually fantastic at what she does, like she's honestly a lovely person. Um, but yeah, I think in constant communication with me, which
Mhm.
was something I was a little bit worried about as well, because I think, like you mentioned earlier, other side of the world,
Yes.
not the same place, like communication might be a bit of an issue. However,
Mhm.
Ralph is very, very good at keeping in contact. Every day we probably talk about different tasks or whatever. So that was a massive thing for me. I thought that's actually a real positive that I was worried about. Communication might be an issue, but it definitely
Mm.
hasn't been at all. It's probably better than if someone was here in the UK, to be honest. So that was
That's yeah, really nice to hear when our clients are very happy to work with a Filipino VA.
mm,
Because it's also great for the Freedom Geek to help Filipinos find a work from home career, but also help our clients actually enjoy working with somebody building a team. Because right now in the Freedom Geek, I believe we have about 11 VAs that directly work for Imogen, and just yeah, the experience of being able to work with all our clients who have different kinds of businesses is also very fulfilling to us. And as well, having this kind of interview with you, hearing the stories and how it helped transform their business is really fantastic. But then I also wanted to ask you, can you maybe walk us through the process of when you onboarded your VA routes? So, what did you do in terms of getting routes informed of everything that's happening in the business? How did you delegate tasks to routes? Did you see any challenges, or was it like a smooth process?
yeah, that's a really good question, and it was a very eye-opening experience for me because when you're working on your own, you know how everything works, right? You know the systems, you know the processes. It wasn't until I hired a VA that I realized I had no systems in place. So that was actually a good thing. It made me suddenly realize, right, I need to get this business in check.
Mhm.
So what I was doing, and this was from recommendations from you guys and some other people I knew using VAs, like do the process yourself while screen recording. So whatever it may be, an admin task, for example, screen record yourself doing it, talk yourself through it, what you're doing step by step, and then save that recording, and that's a training video essentially for the VA that they can watch and replicate, which was a really good idea. Um, Doing those sort of things was fantastic for onboarding. I thought that was a very helpful thing actually.
Mhm.
And then also, if you ever get more team members, that's a training video for those as well. So it's a good return on time. In terms of the rest of the process, as I said, she was actually very, very good at learning. So
Mhm.
some processes, as I said, I didn't actually have a lot of processes in place. So some things I had to be sort of giving her a bit of free rein as to how do you want to best complete this task. And her having her level of competence meant that she was able to do that and come up with her own sort of systems and processes, which has helped me massively because it saved me a lot of time and she can do it to the way that she likes to work. So again, as a credit to the VAs, the level of skill and ability they have was far greater than I had expected or had heard about before. So yeah, that was a huge benefit to me on the onboarding process, definitely.
I like what you said about uh, I asked her how she wants to go about this task,
Mhm.
because it really is like a it takes two to tango kind of relationship. One of the reasons why I love working with the Freedom Geek is because Imogen treats everybody in the team as a member, that like you can be heard, your opinions are very valuable, and everybody just really adjusts with each other. So I really love what you just said about working with Filipino VAs. But can you maybe give us a few tips on how you, well, how other clients can maybe start working with the VA. So we do have a comment from Nelson Whaley. He said that it sounds very interesting. We'll have a think about it. So, do you have any message for maybe entrepreneurs who are kind of thinking of finding a virtual assistant, but they're kind of unsure where to start?
Yeah, sure. I would say it's a very low barrier to entry way of growing your team, right? So if you're trying to hire an in-house person, it's quite a lengthy process, a lot of like hoops you got to jump through, that sort of thing. But having a VA is a very, very fast process, I have to say, like the recruitment process, which is great. Um, but also there's a lot more flexibility in it because, as I said, even though it's a VA, it is a team member of yours, right? So you're bringing on someone to be part of your team. You can't think of it as someone who's, other side of the world, just does a few tasks for you. You've got to really treat them as a team member, and they'll perform as such. So it's actually really, really, it's a really positive thing to have, I would say. In terms of when's a good time to do it, maybe that's a good question. I mean, if you find yourself having to not do some of the really important stuff in your day because of these smaller tasks that could really be delegated, I think that's a perfect time to get a VA on board. Yeah, that's what I would say for any business owners, and Nelson. Yeah, I've only got positive things to say, so that's it.
And also then, so yes, a lot of our clients are kind of just they have so many questions in where to start, how to begin, what's it like working with a virtual assistant. So you've been working with your VA for a good 6 months now, and very happily working with your VA. Where do you see yourself? So right now, where you see yourself, and maybe how do you see your business growing with Ral's helping you there?
Yeah, I mean, this year particularly has been insane growth for my business, particularly the trade tribe, the one that Rouse helps with.
Yes.
It's been our best year by a long, long, long way, and she's definitely a big part of that because, as I said, time is like the most important resource we have, right? Especially as business owners. So I'm able to focus on the more important stuff. So yeah, having that at the VA for that is phenomenal. Um, sorry, what was the other part of your question?
Where do you see your, I guess, business going? Like, what direction it will be going with Ral's helping you right now? Since,
Yeah,
um,
yeah. Sorry about that. Sorry.
no problem at all.
Yeah, so I can only see it going one way, to be honest, which is up, because Rouse has her set tasks at the moment. She's doing fantastically well on all of them. But obviously, she's only doing a few hours a week, well, an hour a day at the moment. So she's more than capable of taking on maybe 2 hours a day. So when the work grows, I don't necessarily need a new team member. It can be that team member just takes on more responsibility, things like that, if they're prepared to do that. So that's a really good thing I like, that it's not like having a full-time employee that you can't give them more things to do.
Mhm.
Yeah, as long as they're available and willing to do it, they're more than happy to take on more tasks, which is just going to help the business more and more going forwards. And sort of how I see it, when I do need to take on another VA, if it comes to that, I also have somebody who's probably going to be very good at teaching them how to do it, which would be Rouse, the current VA, right? Because they're going to be able to share their systems a lot better than I would probably be able to share it. So I think that's a really useful thing to have.
Yes, 100%. When you get a second member in your team and leveraging your current VA to train up the second VA and the third VA is a very smart move because now you don't have to invest your time into training that second VA. And as you mentioned earlier, you said, you recorded all the processes, you saved it in a drive somewhere, and even the new VA that comes in can also watch those videos. So it's really kind of leveraging one person and then getting another person and using your current VA to help the onboarding for that, so which is really amazing. But then if you were to choose one thing about working with the virtual assistant, what would be the best thing about working with RALs if you were to choose one?
Oh, that's a tough one. The
Among
very
all the good things you mentioned.
yeah, a lot to choose from. I would say the very best thing for me personally has been having another team member that I can rely on. Um, I would say, from my experience, a VA is a very, very reliable person as well. Very good at getting tasks done as you want them, when you want them. So for me, having that dependability on somebody else has actually been probably the best thing. Aside from them being a lovely person as well and makes it very easy to work with. Having that dependability is a big thing for me, I would say. So yeah, that's probably the biggest benefit.
Yes, I can't say anything else around that. But Ben, so yes, we are nearing the end of this interview. But before I do end the live session for today, is there any message or anything that you would like to share to our entrepreneurs, our viewers during this live?
Yeah, sure. It's just a sort of to summarize what I've said already, that if you are a business owner and you find yourself delegating too much of your time to some tasks that don't really need to be done by you, I would seriously, seriously consider getting a VA, because it's a very straightforward process. It's very fast as well. I'd say fairly inexpensive as well. And it's a very good way to grow your business a lot faster than you'd be able to alone. So that would be my message. If you want to grow, you've got to grow your team.
Oh, thank you so much, Ben. So what Nelson did send another comment to us. So he says, "Thanks, Yasmin and Ben. I'm based in London. I deal in real estate, commodities, etc. in the UK and overseas. High degrees of confidentiality involved. Perhaps you could arrange a chat sometime to explore further." So yes, thank you so much for that, Nelson. I do want to invite everyone, if there are anyone who would like to book in a call with the Freedom Geek, you may definitely book in a call with me with the link that I provided in the screen. So we have it there. We also have it in the caption as well in this video. But thank you so much, Ben. I really appreciate talking to you about your journey in working with a virtual assistant.
Thank you for having me, Yasmin.
All right. Thank you, everyone.